Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a massive shift that's quietly completely rewiring the wholesale and distribution world. Think about your absolute best customer for a second. Now picture their newest purchasing manager. There is a very good chance that person has literally never ordered a product over the phone in their entire career. The stakes in modern B2B purchasing have just never been higher. I mean, if your competitor hands them a slick, seamless digital login and you're still pointing them to a generic voicemail box, you don't just lose that one order, you lose the entire account. And this shift, it doesn't announce itself. It just quietly shows up as a huge gap in your next quarter's revenue. So today we are going to map out the exact strategy to stop that bleed for good. Okay, let's dive into this. 67%. That is the chunk of modern B2B buyers who now heavily prefer a totally rep-free digital experience. They really don't want to call your sales team to check stock, and they definitely don't want to email a PDF back and forth just to get their contract pricing. They expect the exact same frictionless, instant gratification experience they get when they're, buying stuff for their house on a Saturday. To help you win these buyers over, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the quiet share shift, quantify the manual entry drain, define what a true B2B portal actually looks like, tackle the absolute core of this, the build versus buy choice, dive into the heart of ERP integration, and then finally, calculate the hard ROI. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, the quiet share shift. Because those old-school manual processes, they're doing way more than just annoying your staff. They're causing a silent bleed in your revenue. B2B buyers today spend only about 17% of their total purchasing journey actually talking to potential suppliers. The other 83%, that's all independent evaluation, internal alignment, and digital research. Basically, if you don't have a robust, self-service digital portal available during that tiny 17% window, you are literally invisible to the modern purchasing committee. The winner is almost always chosen before a sales rep even realizes there's a deal on the table. Which brings us to Section 2, the manual entry drain. Before we even get into solutions, we really need to look at the severe financial penalty of just keeping things the way they are. Picture a mid-market distributor processing, say, 300 manual orders a day. The direct labor and operational overhead cost for that is staggering. We are talking about losing up to $4,500 every single day, and that is before a single box is even pulled off a warehouse shelf. It is just a massive drag on your margins. But what's really interesting about this is how those manual errors compound. Industry benchmarks show a 3 to 8% manual error rate on B2B order lines. If a rep accidentally types in the wrong SKU, that one little typo costs between $80 and $220 in returns and emergency reshipping. If they mess up the pricing tier, it permanently damages your profit margins and your trust, costing up to $300 per incident. And the absolute worst part? Your highly paid, talented sales reps are wasting 20 to 40% of their entire week just doing basic data entry. So how do we fix this? Moving into Section 3, we have to clearly define what a true B2B portal is. Because, spoiler alert, a generic shopping cart is absolutely not going to cut it here. There is a huge divide between consumer and B2B needs. Consumer e-commerce is simple. It gives everyone uniform pricing, totally public catalogs, and immediate checkout. A true B2B portal, though, that requires contract-aware pricing that dynamically changes based on the specific account. It needs gated catalogs so buyers only see what they are actually authorized to purchase. And it needs complex workflows like multi-tier manager approval routing. If you try to just slap a standard consumer shopping cart onto your complex wholesale business, your buyers will simply refuse to adopt it. And for your biggest enterprise accounts, a standard web login isn't even an option. They require a punch-out integration. Think of this as a highly secure digital VIP tunnel. It lets enterprise buyers stay inside their own corporate procurement systems, like a Coupa or a Reba, securely punch out into your catalog, build their cart, and then instantly transfer all that data right back to their own system for approval. Offering punch-out is pretty much a strict requirement for those massive accounts. It kills rogue spending on their end and essentially locks you in as their preferred frictionless vendor. All right, we have reached the absolute core of this explainer, Section 4, the build versus buy choice. This is the big crossroad where technical leadership has to decide between those heavily marketed packaged SaaS platforms or a tailored custom development approach. This choice literally dictates whether you scale smoothly or drown in expensive technical debt. Let's look at the reality of scaling. As your business gets more complex, the total cost of ownership for packaged SaaS scales up incredibly aggressively to punish you. Platforms like Shopify Plus and BigCommerce, they can drain up to $1 million over 3 years just from endless app subscriptions and middleware workarounds. Adobe Commerce can skyrocket past $1.65 million, usually thanks to notoriously painful version upgrades. But if you choose a custom build and actually control your own architecture, your 3-year TCO stabilizes right between $250,000 and $800,000. And honestly, the case for custom architecture goes way deeper than just the price tag. Packaged SaaS forces your incredibly unique, complex business logic into their rigid database schemas. It creates this nightmare scenario where you have to maintain dual sources of truth, one in your ERP and one in the SaaS backend, and they are constantly falling out of sync. Custom B2B development, like the hybrid SaaS architectures engineered by Baytech Consulting, flips that completely on its head. By using robust stacks like PostgreSQL and Visual Studio, a custom build maintains your ERP as the one true source of data. You own the source code completely, and you can scale your revenue without being hit by escalating GMV-based licensing fees. It's a real game changer. Which transitions us perfectly into Section 5, the ERP integration heart. Because underneath that sleek, user-friendly interface, a B2B portal is really just an ERP integration project at its core. If you take only one technical directive away from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Stop the nightly batches. Relying on overnight batch processing in today's fast-paced market is actively dangerous. Just imagine a buyer logging in at 10 a.m., seeing something in stock, and buying it based on an inventory count from midnight. But wait, a sales rep already sold those exact units at 9 a.m. over the phone. Your shiny new portal just created a disastrous backorder without any warning. Modern architectures demand near real-time, event-driven synchronization using APIs and webhooks, so inventory is allocated instantly and accurately. And you achieve this through rapid, agile deployment. You don't try to build Rome in a day. You start with Phase 1, pure visibility. Secure logins, live inventory, and historical invoices reading straight from the ERP, all launch within the first 1 to 3 months. Then Phase 2 unlocks one-click reordering based on that history. Finally, Phase 3 brings in the heavy hitters, like those complex approval routings and the punch-out integrations we talked about. This phased approach guarantees you hit milestones on time and see a super rapid time to value, rather than waiting years for some massive monolithic launch. All right, let's bring it all home with Section 6, calculating portal ROI. This is the exact quantified business case you need to take to your executive leadership. So the crucial point comes down to hard numbers. Let's say we have a $50 million distributor who manages to shift just 60% of their 30,000 manual orders over to their new digital portal. Boom, you instantly see $180,000 in manual entry savings. Those expensive, system-generated human errors drop to zero, recovering another $72,000. You free up 4,000 hours of rep time, moving them off data entry and onto outbound sales, which generates an estimated $1 million in net new revenue. And because buying from you is suddenly so frictionless, your customers consolidate their spend with you, expanding your share of wallet by another $1.5 million. Stack those 3 distinct streams of ROI together, and you are looking at a total annual gross benefit of over $2.7 million. Even if a comprehensive custom portal and deep ERP integration project requires, say, a $450,000 capital expenditure upfront, your payback period isn't measured in years. It is achieved in a matter of mere months. The reality of today's market is just undeniable. You can either keep forcing your buyers through frustrating analog channels and suffer that silent attrition, or you can build a system that actually matches how they want to buy. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to turn the operational drag of manual order processing into a highly scalable, high-margin revenue engine? It definitely requires engineering precision and a hard commitment to your ERP as your single source of truth, but the digital roadmap is right there in front of you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start mapping out your own custom portal strategy today.